Well, good morning. I am making these videos now on a fairly regular basis. The reason is because I believe this is a major part of what I'm up to for the next year or so. Let's see. What I'm doing is each of these videos are supposed to be short, at least for now. Let's see. The reason for keeping them short is so that people can watch the parts they like and then string them together as they see fit. I'm doing another one of these. It takes me a while to get up to speed, several cups of coffee, whatever. This isn't meant for anybody except maybe my hardcore fans, which I really don't have any, but it's sort of like, yeah, I like watching Dave flounder around while he gets his little thing going. Okay. But you have to watch. If you don't watch some of the videos, you won't see little things like, building these larger pages out of 11 by 17 sheets of paper. This is actually really useful. I'm going to do some videos about what you can do with 11 by 17 sheets of paper. It's actually kind of interesting. Okay, so very quickly, let's do this. Today's video is about library science and how there is a major paradigm shift happening, right now. And I haven't seen any major discussion of what's happening with this, but this is very fascinating. Okay. The reason, or one of the reasons why I got the domain name 3dprintingland.com was because of the future of what could be called digital files. And when I say library science is more or less how to organize libraries, right? And we have the Dewey Decimal System, and then there's a couple of other systems for organizing libraries. But when you look at the internet, you're looking at a huge, giant technical document, okay? At least that's how I see it. And recently what has happened in terms of what the document is the context of 3D, we'll just call them 3D files, right? Now in the old days, what would happen is everything associated with documentation pretty much worked in the realm of 2D, okay? So this context of 3D files now, which is relatively new, is a big part of VR, which is virtual reality, AR, which is augmented reality, and 3D printing, okay? And we are very soon, in fact, we already are, we're out of the world of 2D videos, okay? I mean, they're still useful and all of that, but VR experiences, or whatever they're calling them now, are pretty much going to be a standard for, let's just say, architectural rendering, right? If you have, if you have a building or some kind of complex that's being, constructed and all the rest of it, okay, it will have what amounts to 2D files, and it will have 3D files. The entertainment industry very soon will go from having, 3D frames to VR frames. Now you have to realize that anything that's happening in this 3D context is going to be a digital file. One of the reasons that I'm interested in QR codes, for instance, is because QR codes contain data They can deliver data, and they can create and find addresses in the right forms of, networks, okay? So I'm keeping things pretty simple in that I'm creating a kind of a vocabulary of, we can call them tech doc pages or coloring pages, but I'm going to have some fun with the QR code format, right? For what could be called coloring pages about, stuff, right? And so anyhow, where I'm going with this is that this paradigm shift is, imagine soon how many technical documents explaining, for instance, space stations or skyscrapers or any number of other things where they're going to be built out of both 3D files and 2D files. And when they separate and become articles out there in the world of articles, like, science papers and other things like that, or just simple articles in magazines, again, they're going to have to, the context of 3D and 2D is going to be a big deal. And that organizational process is going to have to take place for all of this cross-referencing and all of this, keeping it straight, is going to be part of the new library science. And it's not going to go away. It's more or less like we're looking at the beginning. We might as well say we're at the level of clay tablets in Samaria, in some ways. I don't even know how to spell Samaria. Samaria, how's that? Samaria. In Samaria. Okay, the clay tablets issue is kind of like where we are in terms of the relationship of 2D to 3D. When you realize that this technology is going to become ubiquitous. Again, I'm fascinated by what could be called the mobile device and its relationship, right, to these matrix codes, because we're familiar with QR codes, but basically anybody can create their own vocabulary of matrix codes, vocabulary of matrix codes, right? And because of their ability to contain data, deliver data, create and find addresses, right? That again, will be very, a big part of all of this. Now you have to realize that 2D has not gone away. 2D is extremely useful. This is 2D. This is analog, okay, and not digital. It's outside of the electrical ray, that world where you've got to have batteries to see it. No, there's a very, very, very strong, compelling reason to keep the context of hard copy, because it's basically beyond the range of digital revisionism. Okay? And so this relationship between 2D, 3D, digital files, hard copy, right? This is very sophisticated and worthy of attention. Okay, where do I stand in all of this? I, again, will go back to this. Think of a vocabulary of matrix codes, comics, coloring pages, etc., tech docs. The future of mobile devices as being the hub for each person's little, hub. Okay. Now I'm thinking of two things at the same time. Okay. Phone app, important. Okay. So what we'll do here is we'll put phone app. So the phone app is meant to be built to evolve using matrix codes with this kind of adventure of library science, okay? working from the hard copy direction, also from some of the 3D, that's why I did the 3dprintingland.com thing, is because it's a digital file. So phone app, and then back to this, which is what the mobile device is. You have to have a handheld device to run your robo network, right? Or to keep your library straight, okay? The robo network library, right? The mobile device is just going to become more and more and more capable, right? But it's going to be about this size, and it's going to, the same way it's going to have the same number pad, right, that it has now. That's going to be part of it. And very quickly you have to realize that back in, is it 1965, right? Maybe it's 1965, when they came out with the touch-tone phone. They cannot discard the touch-tone format attached to this keyboard because it is it's integral to the architecture of the evolution of what you're looking at. So there are some things that more or less have to stay the same. The same is probably true of matrix code formats. The same is probably true of a variety of things. So the mobile device is going to remain about the same size for certain purposes, but become more and more and more dense with available, we could call them apps. So closing here with the evolution of library science and why that's exciting and what it's made of. We come back to what could be called simple, basic legibility, okay? And this is the part where it becomes, that's coherence, legibility, an ability to navigate. That's what library science is made for. It makes it easy to navigate an incredibly complex array or, arrangement of information, okay? If you didn't have this, you'd be lost in terms of like the Library of Congress or someplace like that, okay? So let's look at that really quick. I don't know if there's anything else I need to add. That's not going to fit into the whole frame, so we can, let's see, those are the other notes. Let's see. So let's pretend we're scrolling past this enclosure, right? That's the page we made today for this video. Anyway, I hope that was somewhat entertaining and hopefully somewhat informative. But that is why I am interested in 3dprintingland.com combined with scheduleadifference.com and a few other things I'm doing. These coloring pages should be a lot of fun and be useful. Okay, so that's it for now. Hopefully that's not too much, but that's our little video for the day, or at least the beginning of the day. And we're at 13:33, so end the video.